Hello, this is Justice here. Me and my sister and I are on our way to the Festival of Books on March the 4th, Saturday, 2023. And we're almost there now. Okay, so we're looking for that's where the lecture is going on right now. Yeah, we're trying to find the political science lecture, because that other lecture we just left.
Second floor.
Okay, they were just talking about fiction. Why you want to hear a author that wrote fiction. That's you want to something that really happened. You want to. Wouldn't it be more interesting to to listen to an author who really lived those experiences, or was talking about something that really happened? It was reality, not fiction. So we're on our way to something that's more realistic. The real true stories and true issues, not just fiction.
The world into deep poverty. His mother was a sharecropper. He lived in an outhouse, or a home that had an outhouse and it had no running water. And so that was the beginning, the origin of his story. It was important for us to dial the clock back to be able to tell his story through the lens of his ancestors' experience in America.
It's one of a number of heart-wrenching stories in the book, and I wonder, I'd like to hear from both of you on this question. How did doing that kind of research change your view of American history and being black in America? And how, in a sense, how painful was it to go comb through that history?
It was, on one hand, painful because you see the hard work that his family had put in, and you sort of could envision a different version of America in which George Floyd enters the world as a wealthy heir and someone who has all the opportunities in the world because his ancestors had been industrious and had worked hard. And so it was painful in that sense, but in the other sense, it was also gratifying to be able to put into paper and into the record this part of his family story, because not very many people know about it. And this is a proud family. This is a family that has a proud American story, a proud American history. And so it was gratifying to be able to substantiate some of the family lore, even some things that family members did not know because they didn't have access to some of these property records and some of these old, records that are in the archives. And so being able to put it down on paper and say, this is a proud family that has worked hard in America. And, there are a lot of stereotypes that come about when you do have a family that has impoverished members and have all of the troubles that come along with poverty, but being able to tell the story of the hard work that went into George Floyd's family experience, it was gratifying to be able to put that on paper and to hear from family members about how gratified they were to see their story written in a way that gave justice to their family's American experience going back to the early 1800s.
And as we were dealing with the past, we were also dealing with the ideas that came in the present. I mean, when we started writing the book, we had no idea if Derek Chauvin would be convicted. We had no idea if the city was going to go on fire. We didn't know what was going to happen with these debates about book banning and how critical race theory would turn, from the moment we started the book. The books that everyone was supposed to read when we started were the books that states were saying, absolutely you should not read by the time we ended. And along that, along the way though, you're dealing with folks who, they're dealing with a lot of ghosts, and it's good that Tolu and I had each other. But it's also good that we got to be and report with these people who are living through these experiences. I'll tell you one thing, Dan. There was a day, and I started the day at church with George Floyd's brother, Toluse. who felt he needed to go because the trial had gotten really hard. He had seen very gruesome photos of his brother's body. And he's at the church and he feels Floyd's spirit there and he becomes completely overwhelmed. And the next reporting pass that I had for the day was I was going to go to a rally with Courtney Ross, who is George Floyd's last girlfriend, the white woman. And she had been very hesitant about going to these things because she was worried that she might say something that would cause a mistrial. But she had made an agreement with a friend that she was going to go to the rally, and I was with our photographer, a person who used to live in Arizona, named Joshua Lott. And I said to Joshua, after we go to the rally, I'm going to take a break because it's a little overwhelming. And we got there. It was a rally for
he wanted to put more love into the world. He was someone who had a number of challenges from the beginning of his life, and sometimes made mistakes. And a lot of times he found that when he did make those mistakes, that the society that he lived in was graceless towards him, that the society met him with harshness when he made mistakes. And he was someone who owned up to a lot of those mistakes. We had the benefit of reading some of his diary entries and letters that he wrote to friends, letters that he wrote to himself. And he wrestled with demons. He wrestled with the dark forces that he said were trying to pull him down, and the difficulties that he faced in trying to stay on the right path as he got older in life, as he struggled to find work, as he got caught up in the criminal justice system. He struggled to break an addiction.
Well, we did some fun stuff, and we're getting ready to go to another lecture. The last one was the first one we attended was about George Floyd and the authors that wrote that new book about him. So now we're going to check out another lecture. Well, we're on our way to the jazz festival or whatever, something like that. Yeah, the other lecture was full, so